came in. Paul Gorst from the Echo, next Dave Maddox in the Mirror. Paul.
Hi, Jurgen. I just wanted to ask about Ozan Kabak, if I could. He says that he wants to stay. I'm just wondering, where do you see his future, and how do you assess the short time he's had with the group so far?
Ozan was absolutely incredible, did a great job. Not to forget, he's now a young boy with incredible experience already. So he obviously was in different clubs, moved early from Turkey to Germany, played there in two big clubs in Germany in difficult situations, which was obviously not his fault, how we all could see when he arrived here. Yes, it needed a little bit of time to adapt, but then he played super games for us. Just I don't want to pick any games out, but the two Leipzig games were absolutely incredible. If you think how good Leipzig could be. Yeah, and all about the future we will talk about really after that, and we'll decide about that after last match day, and then there's obviously enough time for that. Nothing else really to say about that.
Okay, terrific. One for Dave Maddock, then Ian Ladyman, and Chris Baskin. Dave.
Jurgen, I just wonder what you think about the character and spirit of your side, because I mean, I know you're not there yet, but you've had the best run of any team in the Premier League over the last 9 games, and you've still had the same problems, and yet somehow you've dealt with those problems, and that seems to be in part or a lot because of the spirit and the character and just that sheer sort of determination of the side. And I wonder whether that means almost as much to you as the winning that they've done, winning trophies that they've done in the past, to do it under these circumstances, which we all know about.
Yes, it means as much to me. But it's again, and I think it's clear we couldn't have come in that situation if the boys wouldn't have showed this kind of character there, very special character, but. So life is like this. If you are not performing on your top level, people question from time to time your character. In the moment when you stop and you get back on your feet, if you want, all of a sudden the character is there, but the character not really changed. So it's just sometimes we suffer of things we don't have a lot of influence on, and that's why things go the wrong way sometimes. But I never question the character, the mentality of this team. But it was a tough one, and it is a tough one. And again, nobody wants to talk about this season before we played the last game. But that we are in a situation where this game is so decisive is absolutely great news. Absolutely great news. It's always like this: if you qualify for a final, everything is perfect, but then you have to play the final. So don't forget that. And we experienced both ends of playing a final, obviously, as a club, as a team. And we want to be on the positive end of this final. For this, we have to focus on the final and not. You would not ask me, I can remember we were obviously in 2, 3 European finals. You didn't ask me, whatever happens on the final day, are you already happy with the way to Kiev, Basel, or Madrid? Obviously, I was then. I would have said, yeah, happy with that, but let's wait for the final piece, and so that makes all the difference, and that's what we are now thinking about, and not if you question ever the character of the players in a not so good periods, you have to ask yourself why I did that. So the boys proved it now millions of times that it's not about their mentality or not about their character if something is going wrong.
Super. Okay, one for Ian, one for Chris, and then we go to the Sunday guys. Ian.
Hi, Jurgen. I was just looking back at the season earlier, and when you look at the first 14 games of the season and then the last 9 that you've played, the points average from those games would have won you the league. And the spell in the middle, the 14 games in the middle, would almost have got you relegated. When you look back, how frustrating is it that middle section did happen? And also, when you look at the other 2 sections, does that go a long way to convince you that really moving forward there isn't really much that needs to change in your squad?
Oh no, look, obviously a season is a season. You cannot cut off the positive parts from the negative parts and then you say, oh, look at that, nearly there. We don't see it like this, but I tried to explain earlier. I said when we lost, our centre halves, all of them pretty much, we broke our legs, but we could still win games. Not always with the most convincing football, but we could win games. We're still scoring, all these kind of things. Then we had to at that time to make midfielders, transform them into centre halves, and that broke our spine, because then the whole static was gone. The young boys were not ready to play centre halves. The midfielders had to play centre halves that time, and we lost rhythm. We lost pretty much everything all of a sudden, but not all the time. Let me remember one game in this very negative period where we, what you said, nearly, or would have gone nearly relegated. The game away at Leicester. I never lost a game before like that, to be honest, never. And I don't know exact the number what I managed as a coach or whatever, but that was so strange. We were that day the clear better side, played a really good football and lost. So when we had these games, and it was then like, okay, you cannot do a lot of things different. So it's not about that. You have just a football team it is like an orchestra, whatever, or something else where plenty of people work together. And if you lose one piece, then you can still do it. You lose another piece, and then it gets really difficult. And especially in this league, where everybody performs in such an incredible high intensity level, at least always, even not the best shape, stuff like this, but the intensity of the game is always crazy. I mean, in that moment, you lose contact to the football you want to play, or you're used to yourself, and to the other teams as well. And that's why it happened. So you need then time to settle again, stuff like this, and obviously we found a way out, which is absolutely great. Whatever happens on Sunday, we found a way out. It brought us in a situation weeks ago. It was not clear we would play European League. So that's now we achieved that already, and that's not exactly what we wanted, but it's better than nothing. Much better actually, and gives you next year a lot of good games. And how ask United in the moment, really, if they like European League, I would say that in the moment they would say yes. They love to play the final, have the chance to win it. So yeah, we already did kind of a job, but not the job we wanted to do. And how we said before, this year with the injuries we had, it was not a year where you can become champion in England. There's no chance for nobody. You kick out, and as good as they are, 3 centre halves of City, no. 3 centre halves out of United, no. For the whole season, pretty much. That's how it is. That was really strange. But fight back then, accept the difficulties, fight back, and make the best of it. And if we win on Sunday, and if we qualify for the Champions League, then we made the best of it. That's it.
Chris, last question, then we go to a very brief breakdown.
Okay, yeah. You've mentioned that there's been a final, and you just mentioned a couple of the finals there. I mean, given what's happened, is this game comparable in terms of the prize to those finals? I was also going to ask, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche about teams come out stronger in adversity. Do you think you're actually, as a team, even more bonded as a result of what's happened this year?
Yeah, look, I don't know in how many years we will judge our time here when we look back and stuff like this, and this is part of our story, part of our history, definitely this year. And for a long, long time, we thought, okay, it looked like this will not be a year we will talk a lot in the future about. They say, yeah, okay, then happened this, and the rest is, come on, forget it. But the boys made still something special of it, I have to say, really special. And yes, of course, that bonds, that brings you together even more, definitely. So celebrating the big wins together is nice and will stay forever. But going through tough periods makes you, of course, as a unit even stronger. And in that time, we didn't get distracted or whatever, however you would say that. So nothing got in between us. Yes, we had our moments. The players were not in the best shape, like best mood. I was not in the best mood. We had all these moments, but we always found a way to really stick together. We never blamed each other. We never put the finger on each other and said, it's because of you, because of me, whatever. We always knew we came here together, we go through this together, and we will get stronger out of that. We have to show that next year, obviously, and there's a new season and a long period in between, but we will give it a proper try to use all the experience from this year as well.
Final embargo section.